Hi, I'm Nick. I'm a researcher in the North Group at Texas A&M. I am a third year working on photodynamics. So I do photo dissociation. What I do is I take molecules, pollutants that we put into our atmosphere, such as ozone and NO3, shoot them with lasers to blast them apart, and then look at the fragments and the way that they move after it's broken. So to do this, we need a couple things. One of them is the chamber. So I get to work with wrenches a little bit more often than I work with beakers. We have to put together this big steel tube. I also get to work with optics, mirrors, prisms, stuff like that to get the lasers to directionally go through the chamber the way that I want them to. So a day in the life, I work with wrenches. You can see the steel chamber there. There's also that big orange box in the background is one of the big dye lasers I get to play with on an everyday basis. It's a lot of fun. So generally, that's what I do. To be a little bit more theoretical, a little bit more conceptual, I've got an animation to show you exactly what happens in an experiment. So to start, we kind of enter this pulse valve. You can see the NO3 molecule is spinning around. The white balls are helium atoms that we use as a buffer gas so that they're collisional and cool down through the jet expansion. In fact, through that jet expansion, those NO3 molecules get to about 60 Kelvin rotationally. They go through a 1 millimeter diameter skimmer cone, so that kind of narrows it down to a 1 millimeter diameter beam. So this is the molecular beam. They pass through this big plate that is a positively charged repeller plate. We'll get back to that in a minute. And they align, so the molecules that have their transition dipole moment aligned with the electronic vector of the photon will actually dissociate. So only the one with the vector facing upward will dissociate. This is NO3 splitting into O2 and NO. We then ionize it with a different laser, making it positively charged. Remember that plate from earlier? Now that plate is repelling that positively charged ion down the tube, kind of like a mass spectrometer. Crashes into this microchannel plate array, which has a cascade of electrons that smash into this phosphor screen, this yellow screen. And the electrons make it glow this very faint blue color. So in reality, we don't have one atom, one molecule at a time being dissociated and ionized. So what we actually have is what's called a Newton sphere, this big ball that dissociates. And all of these fragments get ionized, and all of them get blown down the tube and crash into that microchannel plate array. So what you would end up with is an image that kind of looks like this, a circular image. This is the image that we actually ended up with. Not my work, but someone in the group before me found this isotropic circular shape. This ring was indicative of some of the dynamics that go into that photodissociation, a mechanism called roaming. I'm not going to get too far into the nitty-gritty of it, but this is the kind of work that we do, the kind of images that we see, and a day in the life of a photodynamicist. This is just a little bit older picture of the group. Na has been added to the group. I didn't have a picture of her for this one, but yeah, that's the North Group.